The item on page 30, and it relates to the Healthy Rivers program, which is a grant application on riverbank restoration works in the Murray River upstream of Murray Street, south of Chanter Street in Moama. And I'm going to declare a conflict on this matter, so I'll hand over the chair to Councillor Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll wait till you leave.
Thank you.
9.2, Murray-Darling Healthy Rivers Program, Joint Consortium Grant Application, Riverbank Restoration Works, Murray River on the Riverbend upstream of Murray Street, south of Chanter Street in Moama. Recommendation: 1. Council approves the proposed participation in a joint consortium application for wholly grant-funded riverbank erosion rehabilitation works on the Murray Riverbend upstream of Murray Street, south of Chanter Street in Moama, under the Murray-Darling Healthy Rivers Program, together with the owners of Lot 1, DP1248616 on DP751152, Lot 42 on DP751152, and other lot holders and stakeholders willing to participate. And 2, Council leads the consortium, completes and submits the application form and enters into a grant agreement with the Commonwealth if the application is successful. Can I have a mover for that, please? Yep. Councillor Wise, a seconder. I think Mr. Gorey just beat you. Councillor Wise, would you like to speak to that?
Yep.
I'll turn mine off.
Oh yeah, cool. Oh yeah, thanks, Mrs. Mayor, I guess, Miss Mayor. Look, I can't believe these photos of the river. It looks like it's receded markedly. The tree out on its own is the site that shows me that, man, we got to get this river back in place a little bit there, or these landowners will be losing their absolute water frontage altogether. It'll be underneath their front steps. So I'm all for applying for a grant to do this job. I wish we had enough money to do the whole of, you know, from Turrumbry to here or something, but unfortunately we haven't. Turrumbry? No, I mean Tooleybuck. Oh, he was looking at me harshly. I just looked, I saw the look in his eye, and I've seen it occasionally. And so, sorry, I meant Tooleybuck. And I really do think that we do need to clean up these rivers. It's a massive problem, and we're about to probably, the guy next door to me would probably agree that we could see a flood in the next few weeks. There's that much water running out of the rivers that these guys are going to be in trouble again, and these photos look a lot worse in another month or two. So I think it's a desperate thing, and I'd really like to see them get the funding to do the river up. Yeah, cool.
Oh, any else? Councillor Weybridge.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Look, there's some trepidation in here because the river is, our part of the river is from Tooleybuck to nearly Barmer. There are lots and lots of places on that river that are in just as bad condition as what this is. The contributors to this situation are many. The river going up and down like a yo-yo, floods, you're right, we'll see what happens. Social activity on the river plays a major part in this, and that's quite evident by the way it's undercut the tree and exposed all the tree roots. Look, I'm going to vote for it because we have to do something, but we just got to be a little bit wary here that we don't not open the floodgates, but we don't become the whipping boy for everybody that's got property along the river that's got some sort of an erosion issue. It's a never-ending. It will just go on and on and on because, as we've seen with the population increase by predominantly people from down south, you know, the river will be under more and more duress, and this sort of thing we'll have to get used to it because it's going to increase. If the feds are prepared to step in and help us out on this, what's stopping the next bit of people on the next bit of river doing exactly the same? And we could theoretically become the people who represent all of those people for things that we have no control over. We're not maritime, we're not... who controls the river now, the height of the river? I don't even know who does that, but the people who control the height of the river, social activity on the river will increase, and as I say, this will become more and more apparent. We've just got to be a little bit careful we don't become the people that everybody comes to get the river fixed up when we have no control.
Thanks, Councillor Wayrich. Councillor Mathers?
Yeah, I'm struggling whether I should support this or not. In principle, I appreciate the merit in it. As Tom rightly pointed out before, and Councillor Wise, that the problem is not just from here, around here, it's all the way to Tooleybuck, and you can add the Walcooley, Edwards, the Nema and so on. There are literally tens of thousands of kilometres of riverbank in a dire strait. So while I'm in principle okay with fixing up a little bit, but I would hope that Murray-Darling Basin Authority recognises that they're the prime culprit for this, and to throw a few pennies, even if this runs, and it will run into millions, to throw a few pennies into a couple of small communities for a couple of little spots to buy off the piece is just nothing short of a joke. So this problem is far bigger than that, and I also appreciate that this is for private benefit far more so than it is for community benefit, whereas in Barham we have an identical problem, and council has worked hard to get funding to do some basic repairs, which are pretty basic at that, and there is substantial more funding needed to correct the problems through neglect in Barham. And so while as I say, I'm not sure that I can support this resolution, but I do think we are much higher priorities within our council, such as the problem in Barham, and so I've probably said enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mather. Any other comment? Oh, Mr. Gorey?
Yeah, my only question, why were these particular sites chosen above other sites? I don't know who I should be addressing that question to. And look, I'm not against this type of funding. It's not our money, and it's not even any indication whether it'll be successful or not. So for that reason, I'm not going to oppose it. But I do agree with both the other comments in the room that this is only a very minute percentage of the actual problem along the entire Murray. But if it was to be a starting point, well, it's good. But yeah, I just wonder where we start and where we finish.
Anyone else?
This is
Councillor Aquino?
This is one of our biggest assets up here, apart from our weather. I don't think it matters where or how the money comes about. I don't care whether it's 5 miles this way or 20 miles up the other way. I think it's got to be looked after. As I said, it's probably the biggest asset. This is one of the main reasons we get the people up here, our river and our weather. I don't think we can cut short and say we shouldn't look at the whole river. I understand it's a lot of money to do the whole thing, but we really need to keep in mind it is our biggest asset, and whatever needs to be done to the river, let's protect it. That's still what we've got to do.
And sorry, Mr. Bond?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Cohen. Just to elaborate on that, council are actually looking to put 4 applications in. These 2 are coming up to council because they involve these consortiums and these private landholders. So the other 2 applications will actually include Barham, as Councillor Mathers talked about, as well as along Riverside Caravan Park in Moama as well, which is privately owned by council.
Councillor Wayrich?
Oh, thanks, Deputy Mayor. Just for your information, I'm dead sure that this stretch of river is 4 knot zone, and people who use that part of the river, be it speedboat, I'm not suggesting paddle steamers, but I would suggest houseboats and ski boats and those sort of boats at 4 is it 4 knots? Yeah, it's 4 knots I'm talking about, not kilometres. At 4 knots create a very large wash, and I think that's part of the issue. There is no answer to that because that part of the river is very well used, and they're on both sides as probably more on the New South Wales and the Victorian side, but there's a lot of activity in that area from the East Coast boat ramp right through the wharf area out the other end. It's very popular and does have a lot of traffic.
Thank you, Councillor Wayridge. Anyone else? May I ask a question of Mr Bond, if that's okay? Mr Bond, just a couple of questions. How much money are we actually perhaps looking at for this? And other things, do we have an engineering solution for it?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Cohen. Certainly we have an engineering solution in mind for Riverside Caravan Park that's already been in place at council fund.
No, I'm more worried about this one.
But this one, no, I don't think that design's been fully completed yet.
Because I'm just worried about having basically that the whole river is going to be sort of boxed in, basically. Because we're sort of, going to do bits and pieces, and it's all going to be, rather than the natural river. And basically, should we perhaps not be dealing with the problems that are causing this and not just continually trying to find a solution after the problems?
Yeah. If I can just make a quick comment to that, there are very strict standards by DPI and others about what you can and can't do with the riverbank. So it's not, it's just not do as you like. This will be tightly controlled.
Let's hope so. All right, thank you. Terry, you've just got yours on. Would you like to answer a question?
I'd like to reiterate what Councillor Mathers said, that the design is under the umbrella of the standards that DPI and others control. Yeah. So we're pretty tight standards. There's not only that spot, but the whole river basin's pretty tight standards.
As I say, sometimes should we not be looking at the problems causing this? And who is there? Oh, Mr. Croft, sorry.
Through you, Deputy Mayor.
Sorry, I can't see that little hand. That's why I can't see.
Sorry. Through you, Deputy Mayor. I just want to make a comment, I guess, and my comment would be from the environment perspective. We've just got to be careful that some of these applications that come up, we're very clear on what we're protecting, because the actual erosion side of things is protection for a benefit. So whether it's for a council asset and those types of things, that's fine. Whether it's for a private asset, we need to think very carefully about that.
Yep. Thank you.
Sounds like a bank manager to me.
All right. Well, we'll move on. All in favour of the motion, or?
Let's vote.
Yep.
You're showing your hands.
So only one against. So do you want that? No. Yeah. No, I'm fine.
I'll get on there.
Oh, we've done that one.